Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time. We are coming off an open week. Haven't had a chance to be in front of you since the post game presser versus Rice. And again, I want to repeat a shout out to our fan base. Unbelievable environment, student section, ESPN, the flagship was here. Wow, you know, and a couple comments on the game uh, that I may have touched on post game. I thought we were in a really good spot at halftime. I did, you know. I told the team, hey, we're in a great spot. Let's go out and finish this thing off. Let's get a couple touchdowns. I thought the defense was playing well enough, and hey, they tipped my hat to Scott and his staff. They took it to us in the second half, plain and simple, and that's just what it is. We continue to struggle, play in four quarters, complimentary football. We continue to show spurts, and I've used this before. Glimpses, in all three phases. I think our coverage teams have been more than glimpses, but we've missed two field goals that we should have made in the middle eight. At least we're struggling as a football team in the middle eight, and we're trying to get our finger on it. What it is, it's like after week two, we struggle in the red zone, getting on a drive and not finish, and the Monmouth game, we were able to finish drives, but we still as I said, the difference in the game on Monmouth was we were able to overcome some penalties, overcome some things, and our margin for error is not it's small. We don't have to be perfect, but we certainly have an issue there. So again, we had 24 hours. We guys got some time off. We've done some, we've I think practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They got 2 days after the game, 2 days going into this week. We're in a full week. Obviously, been out recruiting the last 2 weekends. Got a chance to see some great high school football. We've had staff members out seeing part of some of our 18 guys that are committed. As we get one evaluation with each prospect currently right now in the recruiting calendar. So we've taken full advantage of that, and the off week couldn't come in a better time than where we are health wise. I'll address the Connor situation. That was brought up last night on the radio show, and Connor is out for the remainder of the year. He's scheduled to have surgery in the coming days, along with Henry Rutledge. Will be out for the remainder of the year, and that's what it is. It's next man up mentality. Grayson stepped in and in a tough environment, and the school were us having to probably throw more than what we want to as an offense, and much like he did against North Carolina, I believe. So this will be his first start here for us at Charlotte, but he has started games before, and he's had a good week of practice. So let me check my notes here. Okay, so with that, I'll open up for questions.
Grayson stepping in down. Actually, let me back up. It's ACL for Connor?
I'm going to say lower body injury. Fair? I mean, you've seen him on on the sideline. He's in a brace and in crutches. I think so. You can take that for what you want. I don't want to be just totally. A lot of coaches just say, "Hey, it's undisclosed." I just don't. I mean, something like this is different. I mean, everybody else on our team is questionable. I mean, I've told you the two that are for sure not playing, as you know, Hunter. That we sign a document that says who's out, who's questionable 3 hours before kickoff, and that will continue to happen. And
That with Grayson, how does the offense shift? It seemed like you guys had leaned into the quarterback run element a little bit the past 2 weeks, and now Grayson, obviously, he can get out and move, but it's more that pro style quarterback. So how does that change for you guys?
yeah, that's a good question, and we're going to ultimately call the plays that we need to call to win the game. We did get the quarterback more involved. I think that the game dictated it a little bit. in the Monmouth game, and then the Rice game. I think the when the injury occurred, it was a third and long, and it was a quarterback draw call. It was a called play. Blocked very well and executed well. Um, you'll still see some of that with Grayson, and we're going to call the plays that we need to. Does he have the extra step that Connor has? Probably not, but according to the GPS that we wear every day, he's been clocked the fastest at over 20 miles an hour, straight line speed. I will say that. You know, so there's some things there, but I'm sure Todd will have some things that will do a little bit differently. But you won't see us in the I formation under center, running lead draw and lead draw pass. Is that fair?
Ball being a sport where consistency, building with guys, offense, defense, building kind of that camaraderie with guys throughout the season. With the injuries you guys have had to face, though, how is the coaching staff, I guess, are you balancing just trying to get these guys to know each other when you're dealing with different guys from week to week, it seems like?
It's very challenging. I tip my hat to our coaching staff. They're putting a lot of pressure on themselves. I'm trying to do my best to, you know, help them work through that. We're all competitors, and to be honest with you, coaches they take the losses way worse than the players probably. They're just younger and more very resilient. There's a lot of things going on in the world today that that's just what it is. And so I find myself having to pep talk the coaches sometimes because they get frustrated. But they're coaching their tails off, and the guys are responding. As I've said before, our football team is not going to splinter. Hasn't splintered. We're going to continue to play hard, but I will say it's challenging. And I've been here before. I can't say with everything that we're going through right now, but I've certainly had a record of this before. And I just, again, repeating myself on, hey, we're going to continue to work hard. And if we continue to work hard, we'll improve. And if we improve, we're going to win some games.
Coach, looking ahead to your opponent, USF, obviously one of the best teams in the conference, beating several top 25 opponents. When you look at their quarterback, what challenges does he present you guys? Because he's obviously one of, if not the best in the American Conference.
Yeah. Alex has done a great job. He's on year 3. He's a good friend of mine. A guy that I've kept in touch with. We've known each other since he was a grad assistant at Ohio State way back when. And I he's one of the good guys in our profession. He's an outside the box thinker. And what I know about him, he's got his team playing well. And we actually had some communication last week, and I shot him a text because he's been great when I joined the league here in the American. I reached out to him. Hey, how can I help you? In year 1 and year 2, and he's at Tennessee. He's at Iowa State, Toledo. We've had conversations on how to handle certain things. He's an offensive guy, so that's my background. And again, he's one of the good guys. But back to his team, they're the best team that we've seen by far up to this point. That's a fact. He's got all 3 phases playing very, very well. They should be nationally ranked. We have a couple teams in our league that should be ranked, and I think that'll play itself out at some point in time. But I told Alex, "Hey, look, you got a good team, and I'm not going to sit here and pat you on the back, but I'll tell you this, buddy, your football team plays extremely hard, and it shows on film. And it's probably the greatest compliment you can give a coach, and he appreciated it. But his team is playing extremely hard. That's probably the most impressive thing. They got talent. That quarterback didn't play against Charlotte last year, and he's got a cannon for an arm, big guy, hard to bring down. He can create, and when he gets outside the pocket, he can make some things happen. Obviously, the tempo that they go at on offense is basically impossible to duplicate. We've done our best. Having some extra practices is going to help. But they've got a great scheme. I think the scheme itself, once they want to run the ball, they get you spread out and they go fast, and it's not too complicated, you know. But they get your overhang players in a bind. They can see one high versus two high, and that 2 yards that defender expands or doesn't expand is the difference in getting to the tunnel screen when he's in there tight, or he's out there where he can get to the tunnel screen, but he can't get to the running back until a 6 yard gain, and if he misses a tackle, I mean that's our scheme. I will say again that quarterback is he the best one in the league? I can't answer that right now. I just know that he's the best one that we've seen at this point. And I think we've seen some pretty good quarterbacks up to this point. You know, um, so
Coach, it's your team's first road game of the year. What can you learn about your team as they come together, not having Niner Nation behind them on the road?
well, again, you know um, the first game of the season was a loud environment. And we have to take that experience and use it and apply it. In this game. And we did stay at our home hotel. But we had a hostile environment. We had a great crowd there too, and we've been under the gun. So we pumped the crowd music, you know, all week and some last week to get them prepared. But it's hard to communicate, particularly in the low red areas, and we'll have to grow as a team. I mean, to have a good program, you got to learn and find ways to win games on the road. It's year one, and we're gonna have to find a way to win some road games.
You guys have seen quarterback scramble in a couple different ways early in the season. Lopez with Tar Heels, Jenkins with Rice. This obviously offense is a little bit different. What do you need from your front seven, whether it's maintaining rushing lanes or QB spies, to kind of contain that from Brown this weekend?
I think all the above, and I think where um, he's different. That his eyes are down. He creates. His eyes are downfield. He's whereas Lopez. I mean, it's okay. He broke down and he got loose on us. A couple scrambles. And his arm is so strong that you think, well, he can't. He's on a dead sprint to his left, and he can't make that 22-yard dime. he's done it. But back to the front seven. I mean, we're going to have to stay in our lanes. We're going to have to, when we get a chance to get around his legs, get him on the ground. And then will we do some spying? I'm sure Nate's going to have some things up his sleeve. But I would anticipate the front seven is going to be big, and you'd like to be able to make him one-dimensional. That's everybody's dream on defense. Make him one-dimensional, and the balance piece of it will be that I don't want to say difference in the game, but it'll be big if we can limit the explosive runs and get a few more passes called.
Running backs real fast. So you told us about Henry. So does that kind of put Rod Gainey Jr. in that starting spot moving forward?
It'll be by committee. I think I've said that. I said that at the American Media Days. It's probably going to be by committee this year. So yeah, you're probably going to see 3, maybe 4, at that position, just where we are. They've all practiced. It'll probably be a game time decision on a couple of them. That's the best I can tell you.
Having his first start, how do you plan on mitigating the turnovers? Because the USF is a top 10 team in takeaways. So how do you plan on mitigating turnovers with a?
Well, the plan is not to have any, and we're certainly due to have a game that's like that. We're going to have to. It's going to be one of those games where we don't have any and limit their explosives. We're going to have to find a way to get some, and it'll take all three phases. I've told the team, hey, we've talked as a staff, in meetings about the middle eight, and went through the falls and there's a call here or there that you change, but not drastic. And I just said, look, what's all this mean? It means, hey, it means we got to play one play at a time and focus on that play, and we continue to work ball security. We continue to work stripping the balls of defense. I mean, that is from day one. That's been here. I mean, 5 minutes every day. And on Fridays we come together as an offense and a defense and work on it together. And so I'm not going to just stick my head in the stand and say and try and it's just hey, it's just one of those years. That's not that's not what we're doing. We're going to fight, and hopefully we can see some progress in us getting a turnover or two and not having any.
But knowing what you just said, you said earlier you had been in this spot before the 1-3 record. Guys on the team, who have you seen kind of stepping up and pulling their guys up, knowing, hey, we got a big game Friday night, we got to play our best?
I think there's really a lot of guys, and I tip my hat to the staff. They've done a good job of keeping their rooms tight, and I'm not gonna let the scoreboard change who we are, what we do, what we think of them. I've said that before. That's never going to change. Again, they're resilient, and I say they because the whole team. And the thing about being a great teammate is when a guy is having a bad day, whether it be academics or something's going on in his personal life, or I didn't play well. That's when your teammates come in and help you get through it. That's what being a friend is, and we've got a lot of that. Again, their feelings are hurt. They're disappointed that they're continuing to fight, and we're going to do it one play at a time. All right. Thank you for being here.
For Javen, Coach just announced the news of Connor Harrell being out the rest of the season. We just talk about kind of what he means to the team as a leader, and then talk about Grayson and kind of his game and how you guys will work him in as the guy now.
Yeah, I mean, from the summer, I believed in all three guys. It sucks losing Connor, but I know Grayson will step in, do what he have to do. He's been a really good leader the bye week and then this week, stepping in. He's very comfortable, so I'm very excited to see him Friday.
Right, and obviously you guys don't want to lose anybody, whether a captain or not. But I guess how does the leadership change a little bit when you have a guy that may not be able to be on the field giving that leadership, but now he can kind of be on the side still being able to give it? I mean, how does that change the dynamic a little bit, I guess?
Right. Well, it's anybody who's been hurt and been out for a season knows how difficult it can be to lead from the sideline while not feeling like you maybe can't contribute as much on the field. But I feel like Connor's head's in the right spot, and he knows that he can still lead this team. And he was picked as a captain for a reason. So he didn't change who he was after he was selected captain. He's not going to change who he is after he goes down. So it's good to see him and rally behind him and keep him at our backs. No, he has our backs and we got his.
You guys have seen kind of different scrambling quarterbacks this year, North Carolina and Bryce. Looking at this team, what are some of the keys on defense to keeping Brown, whether in the pocket or, I guess, minimizing his impact on the game?
Right. I feel like it's similar to that UNC game against Gio Lopez. I feel like he was escaping the pocket a lot of the times through the middle, and we didn't really account for that as much in the game plan and adjustments within the game. So obviously with an athletic quarterback, it brings a whole new aspect to the game. You got to be alert in quarterback run because that can lead to sometimes the most explosive plays, as you've seen in USF's film. So whether it's changing scheme or just being on alert for once you're rushing past the quarterback, make sure you're able to counter back and account for that quarterback run because obviously that's a big part of their game, big part of what they do. We'll be ready for it.
David, you guys have had one of the more successful return games in the entire country so far this year. I guess what are the keys that you look for just as a unit you guys are looking for that kind of enables that success?
Really just the preparation and practice. I guess just trusting the guys, Coach Haynes. Just in practice we just instill just doing your job, catching the ball first. That's the most important thing, and then after that, just finding work and just getting as many yards as we can.
Both of you, first game not at home. What's it going to take to be able to rally together, not have a Niner Nation behind your back out there on the field?
I think it's just as a team in the locker room in the summer, we've been all we had. So really just coming together as a team. Just knowing that the game's not going to be perfect. There's going to have adversity that will hit, but just coming together. Just cheering on the defense cheering on the offense, cheering on special teams. So it'll be fun, but I think we got each other.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, we've had our backs up against the wall, and obviously it's awesome playing at home in front of the great fans, selling out the stadium every home game we've had so far. And then just traveling, you got to be able to travel as a team. If you can't travel and play well on the road, then who are you really as a team? So just sticking together, even if we deal with that adversity, like Javen said, stick together. Obviously, it's not our home stadium, but we got our guys, and that's all we need.
And Coach Albin brought up just the importance of offense, not turning the ball over, defense, forcing those turnovers. What does it do for a defensive unit? I guess maybe be it emotionally, motivationally, when you are able to see kind of those successes and be able to give your offense the ball back in short fields, good situations. I mean, how important can takeaways be to just an overall defensive unit?
Yeah, they're crucial. I mean, a takeaway at the right time can change the scope of the entire game. Played football long enough to see how turnover margin can affect games. Big plays on special teams can affect games. It's all about those big momentum swings and what you can do with it and what you can do when you're against that big momentum. So if we can create that for our offense by taking the ball away, which we've done a poor job of these first few games, I think we only have one fumble against App State that JQ caused on what would have been a touchdown. So that's something that we've been focusing on all week in practice, trying to get the ball back in our offense's hands. We know we can get them rolling, and they can do great things for us.
With you guys, Coach talked about a much needed bye week coming at a good time. How did you guys handle it, and what was, I guess, kind of the message, whether it be getting your body right or extra prep for this opponent, or both?
Yeah, I'll go. It's a little bit of both, honestly. Obviously, you got to get your body right. They took a bit off of our legs last week. But then the flip side of that is you still got to get ready for a game, and you got to make use of the 2 weeks that you have to get ready for a game, and especially a big opponent we got this week. They are largely a tempo offense, so it's kind of last week it was kind of balancing. All right, how do we take some off of our legs while also getting our conditioning up to be ready for that tempo offense and be ready to get lined up and go.
Yeah, Coach Elman, he did a really good job with the schedule. But as a team, we attacked it, and it came at a good time with us losing Connor and Grayson stepping in, and him leading the offense, him getting a connection with the receivers, the O line, the running backs. So it came at a good time. But as a bye week, we attacked it. We got our bodies back right, and just ready to play now. Appreciate y'all.